Just Like Us. I'm your host, Justin Bird, and today we have a powerhouse in the building, y'all. So tonight we are joined by none other than David Watts, a true powerhouse in the networking, television, and media space. With over 26 years in the game, David has worked with some of the most iconic names in entertainment and personal development, legends like Les Brown and Vivica A. Fox, helping them refine their message and show up with confidence, clarity, and process. Here's the founder of OnStage Plus and the success-driven community. He's a very big powerhouse. Let's welcome in David Watts to the show. Welcome in, David.
Wow. Thank you, Justin, for having me, man. That was a great introduction. I'm like, who's he talking about?
Let's go. Let's go. Yes, welcome in, welcome in. Okay, so we're glad to have you here. You know what? I work with you on a weekly basis, and to be honest with you, man, you're one of the funnier people I know. You know what I mean? I laugh whenever you come up, whenever we talk, you know what I'm saying? You seem to be one of the funniest people I know. So again, thank you for coming to the show. And we're happy to have you here, brother. You know, welcome in. Welcome to Just Like Us.
My pleasure. My pleasure. I love what you guys are doing, you lady are doing. It's incredible. And I'm just really, really excited. So absolutely. I'm glad you guys are doing this. I mean, you guys are really making a difference. This is amazing.
Thank you. Yeah. And so Letty's not here. She's feeling under the weather today, you guys. So it's just going to be myself and David. We're going to hold it down. And on that note, I wanted to say, you know, what a huge difference it is to have Letty here. There's been one other time where she wasn't here. And I'm telling you, you know, the things we take for granted. I mean, this is something that she usually has this stuff all set up. I'm like, you know, running around like a chicken with his head cut off, figuring it out. I mean, I'm getting this figured out, but it sure does help having someone who knows the ins and outs, all the stuff in the background. So shout out to Letty. I hope you feel better, my love. And let's get to it, though. Okay, David. So OnStage Plus, this is something that I think you're the very first television owner that I've ever met. Can you tell us a bit about OnStage Plus, please?
So we've been doing this for about 10 years, my wife and I, who founded it. And we started off, you know, when I met her, we've been married for over 35 years. When I met her, I was doing photography. I was working at Expressy Portraits in the mall, and I was doing like club photography at night. And once we got married, we kind of started doing joint photography together. We found we could do better together. And then, of course, as that started to evolve, we started thinking, what's next? And that's something that I think every entrepreneur has to think of is, what's next? You know, they say now, if you don't disrupt, you get disrupted. You know, and it's something where if you don't figure out how you're going to make money, you know, you're kind of in trouble. So we saw the streaming was coming, but then it was like, it seemed to be passe or, you know, cliche rather, I should say, because everybody's like, oh, I stream, and, you know, oh, you guys have a network, but I have a phone, I can do the same thing. So we had to start trying to separate ourselves. So we started focusing on not just creatives, because at first we were doing like artists and everything. There wasn't a lot of money in that. Then we started getting more into personal development space. We worked with Les Brown. We worked Sean Fair, Cheryl Woods, more people that are more in the personal development space now that are younger. You know, people such as Eric Thomas. So that's kind of the area we're at, and we built a community around that because there's 1,000 streaming networks, let's be honest. But we wanted to make sure that our network was something that makes the viewer better tomorrow than they were today. So that's kind of our mission.
Okay, awesome. Okay, so you mentioned Les Brown. I'm gonna ask you, so what is something that, you know, you learned from like Vivica A. Fox and Les Brown, like teaching you about presence?
Well, two different things. Vivica A. Fox, I remember we were doing actually behind the scenes photography. We actually did some work with her a couple of years ago with Bomisi, the Black Media Collective. She was one of the panelists. And she is, you know, very particular about her image. And she's making sure, but, you know, really down to earth, but very like, make sure you get it right the first time, because sometimes you don't get a second chance. And Les Brown, of course, you know, his signature line is, there's something great, there's greatness within you, you know? And I think from him, I kind of realized that sometimes when you have a gift, you know, there's a saying in the Bible, not to be all biblical, but it says your gifts will make room for you. And Les never tried to be this or that. He was like, you know, he was his mother's only son. And he was like, this is what I do. this is my gift, this is my path, this is what I'm going to do. And that, of course, as we all know, has made room for him in this world. So I kind of took from him, make sure that when you find what you're passionate about and what your gift is, hold on to it. Don't let anybody steer you otherwise.
Okay. So was there something specifically that really, I mean, you kind of mentioned it a little bit
It
before.
was a twin. Les Brown was a twin. I'm sorry. My producer over here is a twin. Okay. Thank you.
Let's go. So, I mean, was there anything specific that inspired you guys to start the OnStage Plus other than what you mentioned before?
Really, 4 kids. You know, we had to kind of figure out, why we did it. We wanted to really, okay, so in a nutshell, when I was like 15, 16 years old, I used to watch these infomercials at night with Anthony Robbins, and people probably won't remember what they are, who really he is, but he's old school motivational speaker. And I remember asking my mom, I wanted to get his VHS tapes. At the time, it was $200. That was a lot of money. And she was like, why do you want that? I was like, so I could be motivated? And she was like, okay, if you wanted a week, ask me. And of course, a week later, I was on to something else. But I remember saying that if I ever had the opportunity to put people like that in that caliber, who had a message, who wanted to motivate, inspire, and make people happy and show that they could be better than they are, and there was something great within them, I would do it. And you got to be careful what you ask for, because sometimes God will be like, really? Bet. And he will give you what you ask for, so you got to run with it. But like I said, that's kind of what we really started to motivate us to really start this network.
Okay, so within the network, what are, like, how many things do you guys dabble in? I see that you have like many different, I wouldn't say channels, but I've seen different layers that you guys dabble with, and like you guys are involved with, like such as the Super Bowl. You guys have Miss Corporate America. Can you give us a little bit of insight on what that is?
Yes, so I'm glad you asked. So basically, we have OnStage Plus is the broadcast section where we broadcast over 280 million homes. We're on 6 continents. We're not in Antarctica, 165 countries. And we have OnStage Plus Productions, which is our filming. So if you can imagine if there's an event like Super Bowl Media Week, this is going to be our 12th year doing that. We come in wherever the Super Bowl is at. We come in a week before the Super Bowl. We interview the different members of the team, different celebrities. Now, lately, the past 2 years, been a lot of influencers. We come in and we film that. And then, of course, we broadcast it on the network. We have, for the last 12 years, we've done iHeartMedia and Fox Sports. And this year, coming up in San Francisco, we'll be adding to that iHeartMedia, Fox Sports, the Blonde Blitz, Rose Corner, and the Bay Area Review. So we'll be adding those. So those are sets. We get in here like a day or two beforehand, and we go into the media center. We set up the sets, we set up the lights. So literally all the talent has to do is come in, sit down, go on camera, and do what they do.
Let's go. Okay, so I'm gonna give you guys a little background on how David and myself met. We've known each other for a little over 3 months, and we are both inside of the Biz Success Academy on the admin side. Shout out to Cherise, Charlene, Coach Charles, Will, me and David. And so we have been working with each other once, twice, sometimes 3 times a week, every single week consistently. And we built a relationship together, and I think having someone like David around is essential, because it has nothing to do with what he's doing in his business life, but him personally in our business that we're doing. Like, his personality, guys, is he's hilarious. He's somebody that anytime I see his text, I'm laughing. Whenever we get in touch with each other, we're hooting and hollering. So, his personality I see a lot of me in him. You know what I mean? So it's really it's refreshing to have someone like David around, because he's very lighthearted. He's got a huge heart, and he's funny as hell, y'all. He's super funny. So I hope we get to laugh in here at some point in this podcast, because this man is hilarious. So yeah. So again, David, it's really it's cool that we connected how we are, and I can't wait to see what the future holds for us, because again, we both have like-minded, our drive and just our excitement for things. You know what I mean? You really are somebody who I find to be very exciting and in many ways. So, and you guys are having an event coming up in, I want to say, September. Me and Lady are going to come to that, and where there's horseback riding, jet skis, things of that nature. We're looking forward to that. Can you tell me a little bit more about that?
So we're working to do that. It's called Creator Weekend. And, we kind of got in this, and I probably didn't mention years ago when I first got out of high school, my goal was, in my family, we have 11 RNs and 7 MDs. So I was going to go to medical school. That was going to be my path. I started off doing EMT, then I went to paramedic. I worked as a paramedic in Buffalo, New York. Then I came back, and the ambulance company, which was called Regional at the time, was just becoming AMR, American Medical Response. So they weren't hiring. I went back to school, became a computer engineer. In the process of doing that, I started getting more into media. So I really liked the fact when I would see, let's be honest, I really got excited when I would see those Apple, like what do they call it, WDC, whatever it is, when they would come on, they would talk about this and that, and everybody would be like, it was so exciting. And I was like, that'd be cool. How can we do that? So that's how we kind of came up with, Create a Weekend, where people come up, with probably be about 12, 15 people. During the day, we'll probably have seminars on how to write stories, storyboards. We'll barbecue at the barbecue center, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. We'll have a chef here. It will be water sports, horseback riding, and trails, because we're, of course, about 2.5 hours up in the Bay Area. So there's a lot of hiking, horseback riding, and things up here.
Yes.
In the area.
Oh, can't wait. And you're only like 3 or 4 hours away from us. He's in California. What part of Cali are you in?
Northern California, Lucerne. So we're right by Clear Lake, about 2.5 hours, probably about an hour and a half, hour 40 minutes from Sacramento.
Okay, yeah, and we're 2 hours from there, so we're right around the corner. So me and Letty already talked about it. We can't wait to go get, suited and booted, ready to come see you guys whenever you have it in September. So excited for that. Also, so I know that when you're in your business, there's a lot of things you got going on, you know what I mean? And I just want to say, I have done photography. If you ever have any openings, you know what I'm saying, I'd love to work with you. But really, it's exciting to have someone like yourself on, because there's so much that you can learn. And it's not about your TV station. It's not about, but I'm saying just you in general, like what did I miss? I love it. Like David comes every time. He may show up a little bit late because he got a lot of stuff going on, but he always shows up, and we have an inside joke like, what I missed, man, you missed everything except the end. But he's always showing up, and it's powerful to have somebody such as David, which he's super busy, y'all. I mean, he's constantly doing things. He's flying out of town. He's doing a lot of stuff. He got a lot on his plate. Him and Bernadette, shout out to Bernadette. But to have him show up for us as well at BSA, it says a lot. It says a lot about what we're doing inside of Biz Success Academy, and how driven David is to be a part of what we've got going on as well. Because I mean, let's face it, we've all been there since the very beginning. BSA, we've seen the birth of it, and we're seeing it grow. So having David on the team is just, man, I enjoy having you around. You know what I mean? Again. So what else could you share with us, David, that the people might not know?
Well, I guess, let's see. I've delivered 4 children, none of my own. I'm a certified nonverbal communication specialist, so I read body language. That helps with working with actors in front of the camera.
Wow.
I once almost got held hostage in Mexico by rebels. I didn't even know there was rebels. I was working at Cruz Roja, which is the Mexican Red Cross. This is years ago. This is like 1994. And what else? I've done Hurricane Katrina. We have a pet ambulance company we own.
You do?
We have a pet ambulance company.
A pet ambulance? What?
And let me tell you that. So my wife said I should write a book called Memoirs of a Pet Medic, because some of the craziest things I've seen. We sent 2 ambulances during Hurricane Katrina. We sent a critical care unit and a trauma unit. I was one of the drivers down to New Orleans. We drove from California in a caravan of about close to like 45 emergency vehicles, CHP, ambulances from AMR, fire trucks from California Department of Forestry, and we got to Texas and everything east. For emergency vehicles, all the gas was free. We would fill up. It was great.
Let's go.
So Abraham says, how can I produce my short films, such as gaining a budget and showing on different platforms? Let me tell you, nowadays, anybody can make a movie. The thing is, you want to say, what's your movie targeted toward? Who are you trying to appeal with? So often, and I got to tell you guys, I got this sticky right here on my computer, and it reminds me, and it says, what's the opportunity? What's the offer? Who do I offer to? What's the cost? What's the deadline? I can answer those things, because so many times that I've been told by my wife and so many others that I come in here and I'm like, buy my stuff. And sometimes we get creative. We want to make these items or make these movies or make these series, and we want everybody to receive it because we put our heart, soul into it, and people will be like, you know, so you got to look at it. Does it address something that's currently going on? And if it's something where you feel passionate about it, you will find your tribe. But right now, it's so easy. I mean, we all know movies have been made with iPhones and Android phones. You don't need anything fancy. We we have a camera here, one of our cameras, which is close to like $24,000 for one camera. It's a Sony FX6 broadcast camera. Then I went and found out the DJIs, which I think Justin, you had one of those, and it was like around $500. But it's so easy to move it around, do what we want to do from vertical, horizontal. So if you don't have a lot of money to afford expensive cameras, you don't need it. Get what you want. I've seen people over in Nigeria, and they are crushing it with cell phones. You just have to see what is it you want to do and make that happen, and the people will find you.
Yeah. And if you could see my setup, David, I think you'd be really proud. We've come a long way in a short period of time. You know what I mean? Like in the background, I got the TV hooked up, I got the lights, I got the camera, I got the phone. So I feel proud. I'm extremely proud. And I know someone like David could appreciate something like this because, again, David seen us 2 months ago. We're really just getting started. You know what I mean? It's night and day. And so, but again, I've been pouring into this thing because I believe not only myself, but what me and Letty are doing here, and having someone like yourself on, Sharice on, Desmond Soon, we had Coach Charles, several people that have been on, is just building this for us. And it just feels good, you know? So we can see the difference in it. So again, going into production and things of that nature, you're very familiar with that kind of stuff. So, you know, it's great having someone like you on to be able to pick your brain and to be able to, you know, ask certain questions. So it's all about having the right who's around you guys. I mean, let's be honest. If you're hanging around a bunch of people that are really knuckleheads and they don't have anything they're teaching you, you know, you got to find new friends.
You know, Justin, we talked about this, and it's attributed to Nipsey Hussle, rest in peace. He said, if the group around you constantly, remember this right, elevating you, motivating you, and encouraging you to be better tomorrow than you were today, you do not have a circle, you have a cage. And then I would add that it's up to you whether you stay or not. So many times we stay with a group of people because we're familiar with them. We stay with a group of people because we feel that these are people that know me and they really have my best interest at heart. But that sometimes is not the case because, to be honest, from a psychological standpoint, people cannot see for you what they can't see for themselves. And that's the truth.
Amen to that, brother. And I grew up in a gang. So since I was a kid, guys, since I was 5 years old, I was in a gang. Believe it or not, it's a true story. And so, I mean, I didn't really know if there was anything outside of my neighborhood. You know what I mean? Like, it was like if you were somebody who didn't grow up with us, you just didn't come around. It was really like the mob kind of thing. Like, we didn't kick with nobody who we didn't know. And I still know my brothers from when I was 5 years old that I gangbanged with. Like, they're teachers, they're doctors, and like they've come up. So, and to be honest with you, you know what I mean, the ones that have done something with themselves, they're very close to me. They live down the street from me. We hang out all the time. It's my family. And so it really is about the right who's, because the people that are bringing you up, those are the ones that you want to be around, the people that are pushing you. Shout out to Eric Rand, you know, Coach Charles, two people close to me that they push me to do more by checking in with me and just being next to me and saying, hey, man, this is what you could do better. I love that. Eric Rand, he said, I showed him a video and he gave him some feedback, and he called me yesterday and he's like, hey man, I just want to say my bad for being, you know, so blunt. And I was like, no, that's what I want. I don't want people to sugarcoat it.
It's better for people to tell you what you need to fix than not to tell you, and then you put it out there and then it's not received well because they don't hurt your feelings.
Right. Yeah, that's what I said.
Yeah, and I see Jasmine Major said about Tubi. Now I've had a few people, so let me tell you, Jasmine, Tubi was like my arch nemesis for a while. I was like, I hate Tubi, right? Because they just had crazy stuff on there. But every time I would see, and I looked at it first as a competitor, and then I said, that was before we got into the personal development space. But I remember somebody said, if I put my stuff on Tubi, I'm going to make a lot of money. And I was like, okay. And I heard that so many times. Finally, this guy I know, they said, hey, we're going to be doing a movie. We're putting it on Tubi. And I said, can you just tell me, what is it that Tubi's offering? Did they write you a check? He says, well, you can make money on there, but the way it works is when you submit your stuff, if you're accepted, you have to tag them 6 times a day in social media posts. You have to at least spend, he said, at least $500 or $600 in advertisement on social media, advertising your product that it can be seen on Tubi. You've got to do, and let's see, was that the social media, the advertising, and then you've got to, I think, refer or like tag them for different things, share their different posts and show that you shared it. At least I think it's like 4 times a day for like 3 weeks. And then, of course, that way you get people going to your page. I say, well, hell, if you do that on our network, you're going to get the views too. And I think people think, wow, it's because of Tubi. No, you're doing all that work that Tubi has said to do this and people watch your show. Well, if you do that with any network, people go see your show. Run your ads. We tell people, run your ads for your stuff that's on OnStage Plus. People will see it, but a lot of times people want to put it on the network and then they want to walk away and say the network will do it. And I remember seeing this interview with Will Smith, and people said, why are you consistently one of the highest paid actors in Hollywood? He said, because when we wrap shooting, I go and I do all the press junkets. He said, I'm pushing my work. I'm pushing what I did. He said, some actors, he said, I won't mention any names, sit back and go to studio, figure it out. And when their sales are not what they want, he said, they go, man, it must have been bad writing. It must have been a director. You didn't push your own work. So we say the same thing, push your work. You'll get the same results. A lot of people think too, well, I had one guy who goes, I'm going to put something on your network and I'm going to get 50 million views. And I'm like, 50 million views without advertising is going to run me a ton of money. And he said, well, YouTube, I get paid. I said, well, YouTube, as soon as you put your video on YouTube, they run a commercial on it. They already got their advertisers, product.
Right.
But I think a lot of times you don't look at it from that standpoint that look at the model that you're working with, look at the platform you're working with, and what is your long-term and short-term goals, and accordingly.
Hey, let's go. Okay, shout out to my daughter. Brea is in the building. That's my daughter right there. That's my oldest. She's about to be 25 years old. I don't even look like I'm 25. How do I got a 25-year-old kid?
Wow.
No, my son Justin's with her today, and she was over here today, and I was showing her, and I just want to take a second as a proud father moment, being able to show your kids what you're accomplishing. A year and a half ago, I was using, And so from how far I've come in just a short period of time, I just want to say thank you to my kids for sticking by me. Brea, I love you so much. Little Justin, I love you. My daughter, Julia, she just turned 18. And so it feels good to be able to do good for myself so that my children can see what I'm doing, because I'm not talking, I'm doing it. I'm actually walking the walk, y'all. And I have people like David right here that supports me, and then several people that believe in me, that see what I'm about, what I'm doing right now, and they want to support me. So I shout out to my family and everybody behind me.
And just want to say, and absolutely, Abraham, please, I'm sure I'll save my social medias after this, and we can reach out and keep in touch. But I'm telling you, Justin, what you just said there, that's phenomenal. Growing up, I grew up in Buffalo, New York, and in the inner city. And so for you to say 1 year ago, you did 180 degree, man, that's huge. And I think people look and they go, oh, wow, that's really good. No, that's freaking huge, man.
Yeah.
To be able to turn and to say, this is what I'm doing, and to be not just where you're at right now, but we always say when we do this, sometimes it's not just for us, because there's people that are going to see you and that are watching you and Letty, and you may never meet them, but you will inspire them and help them in their journey, man. So that's incredible. Yes,
thank you. And again, you know what, real quick, I want to say Jasmine reached out to me. She said, Jasmine that's on here right now, Jasmine Major, she said, we're watching you guys, your success in your podcast recently has inspired me to start mine back up. So I'm gonna go ahead and help her with what she's got going on. And again, iron sharpens iron. So having the right who's around you, it's all about the people that are gonna push you. I've had a lot of people next to me. Again, growing up how I did, I didn't know I had a choice with who I hung out with. I thought it was just, I grew up into this gang, I grew up into this neighborhood, and that was it. I didn't really know I had a choice. And then I found out I was older, and I was like, okay, I could choose my friends. What a powerful way to go. Like, and when you don't have those thoughts of the mind or the option to say, hey, I can choose who I want to be around. And it wasn't saying anything about, how I grew up, but it wasn't positive. My role models were people who were in prison, people that were shot callers in the joint, drug dealers, prostitutes, things of that nature. Those were the people I had to look up to. And so, now I have doctors around me, like my friend, Dr. Renee, shout out to her. I watched her movie on Tubi the other day for the first time, and it was really cool to see someone I know that's very close to me have a movie that she made. Those kind of things just make you feel great. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I got the right who's around me. And and these people really believe in me, like you, David. Like, again, the people that are around me, they see the light, not only that I bring, but what we do as a team. Because David, me and you, we bounce stuff off each other. Hilarious. So we have fun. And to me, that's what it's about. It's business, but we have a lot of fun doing it. You know what I mean? So it's really, for me right now, about the right who's, get the right who's.
I love what you're saying. If I could also just add, you guys, there's an old saying, they say, fake it till you make it. Now, this is just from a scientific standpoint, you guys. If you're ever feeling stressed, smile. And even if you don't have a reason to smile, when you smile, that releases endorphins. That releases um, actually a chemical um, product. I forget what the name of it is because it actually helps lighten laugh frown lines and things like that. Subsequently, when you frown, it actually releases another chemical which can cause serotonin to be released. It actually can cause you actually to have those lines more
Mm.
indelible in your face. So what I'm saying is, when you're stressed, laugh because it releases dopamine and it really helps to lighten the mood. When your body goes, well, we don't know why we're smiling, but it must be okay, and things will change around. So that's what I say: fake it till you make it. If
Yeah.
you have no reason to smile, smile anyway.
Hey, I love that, David. I love that. Again, like, when I wake up in a positive mood. It's a lifestyle. It's a choice. I could be this, I could be that, but I choose to be excited and happy because I woke up. And David's saying this from not just something he learned. He's a doctor, you guys, and I'm not saying that to brag for him. I'm just saying you do have a PhD, if I'm not mistaken, right? And I mean, and I hope you don't mind me
Studies,
saying.
yes.
But yes, and so he's saying this from a physical point. He knows what he's talking about as far as like the dopamines, the serotonin levels and the things of that nature. He has he's educated on this stuff, so he's not like he's just pulling this out of the hat. Like I know, and that's what's cool because he's so humble. David's such a humble person. Like to me, I just see a big bear. I just see this big bear that you want to give a big old hug. That he's always laughing. He's got the funny jokes. But he's very intelligent. I'm just saying, like, he doesn't have his own TV station just because of his good looks. Okay, I mean, maybe, maybe he is handsome. I'm just saying, but he's very, very intelligent. And when I have conversation with him, I'm humbled because, I mean, he's just a super intelligent person. And when you talk to him, he's like, I didn't think of it like that. And you have a lot of aha moments around someone like David. And again, I mean, I don't mean to, boast too much for him, but he's just somebody I'm proud to have around me in my immediate circle. I mean, we talk on a weekly basis, and it's exciting to have people like him around. You got these people, when you're the smartest one in the room, you need to find new friends, right? If you are the smartest one in the room, get new friends.
Well, I love that you just said it. And we attribute that to was that Nipsey Hussle as well. He said, if you're the smartest one in the room, you need to go to a different room.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
And it's so funny. I think it's a shared experience, Justin, because I know, and I'm not telling our laundry, but sometimes we're on a call, me, you, Coach Charles, Sharice, Charlene, and something might be going on, and we're like texting each other, and we try not to laugh on the thing, but we just like, but I think that's where, because you've got that experience, that shared history, when we say something, you immediately get it. Somebody says something, and they say what is understood doesn't need to be said.
Right.
We do something, and we're like, "Oh my God!" If so, we all try not to laugh.
Right.
But I love that.
Me
I
too.
love this team.
Yeah, me too. And one other thing that I like to bring out is the fact that we all support each other, and it's something like, man, I get a little bit emotional because how much the team has poured into me. Like you guys don't even know the people who I'm around right now. They give a crap. They care so much, and it truly shows. You know what I mean? When people are not just lifting you up, but they're really holding you up, and they're holding you accountable, and they're saying, hey, I thought you were gonna do this, and a lot of stuff is for me. It's just like you can't find better people. I'm blessed to have the people who's around me. But again, I want to attribute that to my energy as well. You know what I mean? I'm a good person. I think very highly of myself. I'm positive. But these are all things that I choose to be. I'm not just like this person that's got this positive blood flowing through me, and I'm just like I wake up all happy and jolly. I choose to be like this because I'm gonna die tomorrow, as far as I know. I'm legitimately not gonna be here. So today's my last day on earth, and I'm gonna treat people like that. You know what I mean? I am. I was actually on the phone earlier, and I said, it was my tax guy right before we got on here. And he's like, man, I've never talked to somebody this long on the phone. He's like, man, there's something about you. I said, I'm telling you, if it was just me and you in the world, bro, it'd be like, you'd be everything to me. Don't leave my side. So right now, you're the most important thing to me. You know what I mean? So, and I like to think like that. I like to feel like each person is just as important as the next. What's the difference between me and David? Probably the fact that maybe we didn't grow up in the same household. You know what I mean? We're two of the same people in different worlds, but it just feels good to be able to stay so positive in such a negative world. There's so many beautiful things out there. I like to feel like, you know what? There's so much positive inside me, and I'm just gonna dish it out. I'm gonna laugh. I'm gonna smile. I'm gonna have a good time.
I love what you said. I think you said it was a while ago. You said, I have a choice when something happens. I have a choice to be upset about it, or I can be happy, or I can choose. You said you can choose. And I think so many times we allow situations to choose for us. But when we choose, even though sometimes that choice is hard, when we look back on it, an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, and if you chose light, love, you'll see that everything works out. I remember just real quick, years ago, There was the Dalai Lama, Oprah Winfrey, Tyler Perry, and there's some other people, and people in the audience were asking, how do I find my passion? And how do I do this? And they said, whatever you would love to do and you would do without getting paid, that's your passion.
Yes.
And they asked them if you could tell your younger self one thing, and unequivocally across the board, they all said, everything will be okay.
Hey, let's go. Oh, okay. On that, I was up till 4 a.m. this morning doing something that I absolutely loved. I was making, I think every single one of you guys that are on here have seen those little baby dolls that people have been making at some point. So I stayed up until like 3 a.m. making these. I was so addicted to doing it last night. And I was like, man, I had to be to work. I had to get up at 6 o'clock. It's 4 o'clock in the morning. I'm still going at it. I'm like, and I thought to myself, I said, this is that drive right there. This is what I need to be doing, is something like this. If I'm that energetic about it and so passionate about something, like, you know what I mean? And it wasn't necessarily just about sitting on the computer making these dolls. It was behind it, what I'm doing for having David on, for having this podcast, for building what we are here, this product that we have. We're producing this stuff, and it feels good to have this brand. So I feel like if I'm that passionate about something, I need to stick close to that. So I just want to say, for anybody who if you guys have a dream or goals and there's something that you're very passionate about and you could do that and get paid, man, why not? Go for it. You know what I mean? If you're a singer or a rapper, or just have it in your life. Have that close to you, because I'm telling you, that passion that fuels that fire, that's going to be the thing that's going to end up, if you can get paid for it, why not? Right, David?
And that's the thing, like we said before, if you're passionate about it, your gifts will make room for you. Stick with your passion. That is your gift. I guarantee you will find your group, you will find your tribe, and the money will not be an issue, because it will find you because of your passion. Work that, I'm telling you, I'm a living witness.
Yes. And I'm telling you, Eric Rand prayed for me the other day. I had been down and out down and out to me is like, coming home and not energetic. And I just kind of was sitting there. And so I was like that for like a month, and Eric had prayed for me. And ever since that day, I'm telling you guys, God works his magic, how he works his ways of doing things. And ever since that day, he prayed for me. I mean, I had so much energy, and I feel like, like the sky's the limit. I'm not going to let anything hold me back. You know what I mean? So I'm just going to keep on grinding and doing what I'm doing. I'm telling you, there's a shift going to be happening in my life very, very soon. I'm saying it right now. Mark my words. There's going to be a huge shift in my life very soon, y'all. So stay tuned. I'm just saying, stay tuned, because there's some big things coming up in my life. So again, having people like David around is big time.
And if I could just put out there, you guys, if you didn't see it on my glasses, there's two things. One says I am, that I have on the inside of my frame to remind myself. Everything after that is a declarative statement. I am successful. I am happy. I am prosperous. On the outside, this is abracadabra. That's Aramaic for what I speak becomes. You know why they call it spelling? Because you cast spells.
Yeah.
So many times when I was growing up, hate to say this, but my parents would say something, they'd be like, I'll be damned. It was just something where, like, they didn't believe that, but they were speaking negativity onto them. And I love when you said, I've adapted that since, Justin. Somebody will pop up and we'd be talking about them. You'd be like, speak of the angels.
Hey.
All the time. Before that, I always used to say, speak of the devil, but why would I want to do that?
Right.
These little things mean so much.
Right.
Changing your vernacular can change the circumstances.
Absolutely. So there's two things that my son Justin is not allowed to say. He could say anything. He could even say these, but I prefer him not to say these two words. It's can't or cannot and hate. Those are two, and there's more, but you could say a cuss word before you're allowed to say those. You're not allowed to say these two words, and I'm pretty strict with it. You know what I mean? What would you say? What do you say? You can't? I don't know what that means. Can you please rephrase it? Okay, Dad, I'm unable to. But now even rephrase that to where I can. I just have to find out another way to do it. And he did that on his own. I was like, that's what's up, y'all. That's what's up. It's like a proud dad mentor kind of thing. You know what I'm saying? We're like, all right, he's getting it. You know what I mean? So, and I'm not drilling him with it. I'm just, I guess rephrasing it so that he understands. I'm not just putting this stuff on you so that you're gonna have stress. I'm letting you know that those things that you're compacting into, compounding into your life, as if it's, you say you can't, but you can do anything. You can go out there and curse. So you can flip me off when I turn around if you wanted, but I prefer you not. And so he's understanding more and more, like, I'm not just saying this stuff just to say it, you know what I mean? So I love the fact that I have a relationship with so many people that I do. I feel like I'm a very relatable person. You know what I mean? And so I'm attracting these good, valuable people. To me, they're valuable. You You know, someone like yourself. And again, it's not about money, or it's about our connection. You know what I mean? Because David, you are somebody that I laugh a lot with, bro. And behind the scenes, like I read these texts, you guys, and David, and I'm literally laughing out loud. Because there's sometimes when you guys are laughing inside quietly and you say laughing out loud, but I'm like dying laughing out loud, and people are staring at me like, what the hell is this dude laughing at? You know what I mean? So I love that. And so I want to stay close to the fire and have people like that around me consistently.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
And
Absolutely.
and that's the thing too, Justin. It's because of what's in you. Because we always say you can't pour into somebody else what was not first poured into you. So by Letty being, of course, your partner and strengthening you, and we always know they say behind every good man is a great woman. And so you're able to pour into other people and to be that light because that was first poured into you. So I don't want you to minimize what you've done by any stretch of the imagination, but it's because of the energy that you reflect is why we can all show up and do what we do. So I'm thankful for that as well.
Yeah, let's go. I love hearing that. You know what I mean? Again, iron sharpens iron. And sometimes I forget you know what I mean? Again, I don't mean to sound like I'm bragging, but sometimes I forget how powerful I am as a person too, because there's people that have told me, man, listen, yeah, I thought you was going to be a millionaire a long time ago. I thought you were going to be successful a long time ago. People fuel off the energy that I have. I don't know very many people like me. I do know a few. Dr. Renee is one of them. But how much energy I do have, I'm sure I could be a bit much. As of right now, I'm probably a bit much. You know what I mean? So, but I'm okay with that, because guess what? At the end of the day, I could sleep well, and I know my intentions are good. We all have our days. We all have our skeletons in the closet. But overall, like I'm happy with who I am as a person, as a father, as a friend, as just a human being in general. And again, I used to rob houses as a kid. I went to prison. You know what I mean? I did drugs until a year and a half ago. You guys, I am not perfect, but I'm working on being the best me that I can. And guess what? I'm doing pretty damn good. You know how I know? Because the people who are close to me that I've chose to allow to be in my life so close are telling me, keep on doing what you're doing. And that's how I know, by them. And I'm not just getting justification from other people. When I look in the mirror, I know I'm doing good, but I could always do better. So I put myself around people like Dr. Renee, you know what I'm saying, David, Letty, Brea, the people that are around me. And I love having these people around me, because without them, I wouldn't know who I am. You know what I mean? So I'm glad that these people are just like us, right?
Yes.
Oh, yes. I'm going to go to the comments for a quick second here. And let's see here. We got Collection said, yeah, you got one. You got on me big time about saying the word hate. Yes, I've been like that for years. The word hate has been a big deal. Are you sure you hate? You know what I'm saying? Or you don't dislike it immensely? Because that word right there, there's a lot of passion behind it. There's a lot of energy behind the word hate. And some may say it's just a word. But that's one word my son is not allowed to say. That and can't. And I think there's a good reasoning behind that. You know what I mean? Okay, I'm going to tell you guys a quick story about the last time I see my dad. I told him, I said, F you, I hope you die. True stuff, you guys. True story. Absolute 100% real story. My dad, I was in a lot of trouble at this time in my life. I was in and out of juvenile. And I think I was on my way to kid prison. I might have just gotten out. And so it was the first time I ever called my mom the B word. Okay, I was like, F-U-B. And my dad, he looked like Hulk Hogan. Big, remember the wrestler Hulk Hogan? He looked just like Hulk Hogan. And he punched me for the first time ever in the face. And I started crying. I was hurt, not physically, but I was hurt that my dad hit me. And I said, F you, I hope you die. And I ran out the house. And that night I got a page on my pager. I got 911 on my pager several times. And even when I ran away, my mom never blew me up like that. Anyways, long story short, I got on the phone and she's like, I need you to come down to grandma's, please. It's very important. So I ended up getting down there and she just broke down. My mom broke down. It's like, Dad got killed tonight. He's not here anymore. And I wore this on my shoulders for years, you guys. And so like I had the feeling that I had something to do with my dad dying. I really did. I had this feeling that I had something to do with my dad dying. And maybe part of that was a little bit true. Maybe I did. Just the energy being on the universe. But the whole point of this is I didn't bear that weight for many years before I realized like it's not healthy to carry this kind of weight around. But I want to say words are very powerful. You know what I mean? You think that maybe it's just something you think in your mind and then it comes out from your vocals, from your stomach and you voice it, but there's energy behind that. And so I'm very careful with saying these kind of things anymore. Like I don't wish anybody ill or don't lie about being sick or things of that nature. So your words are very, very important. That's why I'm strict with my son about what he says and how he reacts and acts towards things too. So the word hate is one of those words that it's just something that I don't condone. I don't like it.
That is so, man, Justin, man, look, I know we could be on here for all night, but I just want to say real quick, we all vibrate at a certain frequency.
Right.
And I love what you're saying, because I don't think there's been anybody who's went through anything who has not been at a lower vibrational frequency. And we
Right.
sometimes get around people. They say, like, you can't fly with eagles if you're hanging out with turkeys, right? But we get into that. We get into these groups and everybody's vibrating low, and you want to go somewhere higher. You want to be with a different class of people, but your frequency is such that you can't elevate and rise above that. And sometimes it's about distancing yourself from that, allowing your vibrational frequency to change so you can start attracting people into your circle.
Right.
And I know you definitely, I can see, because I can feel it. Your frequency has changed. And like I said, I think that was something when God called him home, that was it. It was nothing you could have done. You could have said, "Dad, I love you," and it would have been the same outcome.
Right. Yeah.
You all said things in hate or in jest and wanted it back, but I always say words are like bullets. Once you put them out there, you cannot bring them back.
Right. Yeah.
How this is loaded.
Right. Yeah. And it is. And so, one of the things that helped me get over this was my daughter, not get over it, but, my daughter Bray was born shortly after that, and so I was able to kind of like, it took some of the attention off of not feeling so, but there's things where a lot of us have trauma, you know what I mean? Like, I dress nice in suits, you guys, I'm gonna tell you, I dress like this. There was a point when we were homeless in our van, our whole family, and I remember going to school and not having clothes, the same clothes for 3 days in a row. True story. And I had this girlfriend, and we ended up breaking up that day because I remember her just like kind of looking at me like, I'm like kind of disgusted in a sense. I had the same outfit on, and I didn't have any say so of what I was wearing. And I was like, I'm never gonna want to feel this again. I'm gonna do everything I can to never feel like this again, because it was out of my hands. My parents were the ones who were providing for me. We were jumping out of our van in snow, and so since that day, I did everything, and that's kind of what got me into robbing and doing the crime and things that I did. For years, I did crime for like literally like 8 to 10 years, and like that's how I got by. I started robbing things. I started robbing houses and going in houses at night where people were sleeping. I never hurt anybody. The point is the things that we carry from childhood definitely, they carry on through our adulthood too. And so I'm damaged in many ways, but I'm working through it. I have a coach. If I'm gonna be a coach, I definitely need a coach myself. You know what I mean? So I've got things in place that where I'm working on myself. So I'm looking inward, and I'm not perfect. Letty can tell you right now, like, I am definitely not a perfect person, but this trauma is in my life that's happened. I've forgiven myself. I've forgiven the things that the people that I may have wanted to blame. I haven't harbored any hate for anybody, because it's not going to do anything but drag me down. I don't want none of that on my shoulder. Even a little bit of weight. I'm walking. I got a long ways to walk. I got a long way to go. So that little bit of weight, that's gonna be heavy after a while. You know what I mean? So any little bit I can let go and be of the past. I'm not forgetting it. You know what I mean? But I'm forgiving myself for carrying this stuff as if it was mine to carry. And some of this stuff, it's like some of this stuff I had nothing to do with me. Some of these things were not in I just had to put on this backpack with extra weight in it and walk. And then I had to figure out how to deal with it. You know what I mean? It wasn't my fault or doing, but it was up to me to figure out how to fix it and how to figure this stuff out. I may be wording it a little bit wrong, but I'm the one who had to walk with this backpack with these rocks. Some people didn't have the backpack on. Some people they grew up in a different environment. They didn't have the backpack with the rocks on it, and so they was already 2 steps ahead of me. But I ain't gonna let nothing hold me back, y'all. In fact, that fueled me. You know what I mean? Say I can't make it. Tell me I'm not gonna do it. Bet. You know what I mean? I'm getting it. So life's too short, y'all. Life is way too short to be upset, mad, angry. For me, the positive side of things, for real, works. I like smiling. I like having a good time. I like laughing, not at other people's expense. I mean, I know we've all laughed when you see something on YouTube where somebody tripped and rolled over, or, you know what I mean? But I like to enjoy life. It's too short, because I will at some point be off this earth. And when I die, I would hope I leave an imprint, a legacy, a dent in this world, and people can say, man, he was a good dude.
They say, Justin, people may not remember what you did, but they'll always remember how you made them feel.
Yeah. Love that.
But thank you. I'm just so excited. Thank you so much for having me on, man. And I'm excited for what we're going to do, what we're working together on collaboratively, what we're going to do in Biz Success Academy, and what the entire team is doing. This is going to be amazing. Yeah.
And again, David is a powerhouse in whatever you do, but as a person, man, you're my brother. You're my
absolutely. Same here.
I confide in. I love having you around. And I want to say thank you to David for coming out here, and everybody who's joined us. Collect we got Eric, we've got if I missed you, I apologize, but thank you everybody for joining and chiming in. And we love you guys, and reach out if you guys are looking for David. What can you leave them with as far as like OnStage Plus? Is there anything that you want
Oh
to?
yeah, if you guys go to our network, our web app is watch at onstageplus.com. We're in all smart TV platforms. We're in the iOS and Google Play Store. My email address, our Instagram is onstageplusmedia. And you guys get me David Watts at Gmail. That's my my Gmail account. And yeah, you guys just search up OnStage Plus on Facebook for those who are not millennials or might be on that platform. But you guys, yes, also reach out to me if there's any advice or any information I can give. Let me know. Like I said, life is meant to be a gift. That's why it's called the present. So
Yeah,
absolutely.
I love that. Okay, again, thank you, David, for being here. We appreciate the love and showing up and adding value to our show. So we'll have to have you on again at some point again. So Bernadette, we love you. I know you're in the background somewhere. We love you, sister. Thank you, guys. And until next time, you guys, stay tuned. Be kind to one another. You never know when they're going to be gone, you guys. And enjoy life. For whatever you do, just smile. Have fun. If something ain't feeling right, just smile about it. You know what I mean? Thank you, guys. David, we'll see you on the next one. And y'all,